Rahul Patel, a resident of Jharkhand, works with a DJ sound company. His job? Traveling to weddings and getting entire crowds dancing with powerful music systems. Their DJ team is well known across the state. Bookings come in from all over Jharkhand. But on April 17th, 2023, something happened, something that Rahul still can't explain. That night, Rahul and his team were returning after wrapping up a wedding. They were heading toward Jamshedpur. But everything changed the moment their truck entered the Taimara Valley on NH33. Suddenly, the driver experienced a complete blackout for a split second. And what followed that night was something none of them were prepared for. Before I tell you what really happened, there's something important you need to understand. Because the date, April 17th, 2023, is not just a date. People say, in Taimara Valley, time itself doesn't behave normally. Let me take you back. Rahul's team had just finished a wedding in Ranchi. Everything went smoothly, music, dancing, celebrations. By morning, they packed up their equipment. That's when they received a call from their boss. The Jamshedpur team's vehicle had broken down, so Rahul's team had to drive there, pick up their equipment, and then return together. It sounded simple. Ranchi to Jamshedpur, about 130 kilometers. They relaxed, had food, and finally left around 7 p.m. Their driver had driven this route before, but never at night. He had heard stories about the valley. Dark, isolated, and not entirely safe. But with a full team on board, they decided to move forward anyway. About 10 kilometers ahead, near Namkam, bang, the truck tire burst. Fixing it took time. By the time they got back on the road, it was already 9 p.m. As they moved deeper, the environment changed. Dense forest, narrow roads, flickering streetlights. And then they saw something strange. On one side of the road, a statue of Hanuman. On the other, Kali Ma, a warning sign stood nearby. Taimara Valley. Without realizing it, they had already made a mistake. As the truck entered deeper into the valley, the atmosphere became heavier. The driver slowed down to barely 20 kilometers per hour. Wind hitting the truck's tarp, making unsettling sounds. Then suddenly, Rahul checked his phone and froze. Mobile phone, the date showed April 16th, 2020. Time, 3:02 a.m. But it was actually 2023. He brushed it off as a glitch, but it wasn't. Moments later, they saw a woman standing on the roadside, holding a bag, signaling them to stop. The driver slowed down, rolled down the window. "Who are you? What are you doing here at this hour?" The woman replied softly, "Drop me ahead, my village is nearby." But her voice was not normal. It sounded like two voices speaking at once. At that exact moment, one of the guys sitting in the back called Rahul. "Don't stop the truck. Drive now." Rahul asked, "Why?" The voice replied, shaking. "Her feet are not touching the ground." Panic, the driver immediately rolled up the window and hit the accelerator. But just 100 meters ahead, they saw her again, this time standing in the middle of the road with a child. The driver slammed the brakes. The truck skidded and crashed into the side hill. One of the guys in the back hit his head badly. They had no choice but to step out. Now imagine this: a dark valley, deep silence, a damaged truck, and fear everywhere. While treating the injured, the generator inside the truck suddenly started on its own, then stopped, then started again. And then they heard it, a woman crying from inside the truck. That's when they realized this was not normal. The driver shouted, "Everyone hold hands. Start chanting Hanuman Chalisa." They began chanting loudly. As their voices grew stronger, the crying grew louder too. And then, silence. When they checked the truck, there was no one inside. They somehow managed to leave the valley and stopped at a roadside hotel. The next morning, they shared everything with locals. What they heard next chilled them even more. Many accidents, many deaths. This place is not empty at night. And the strangest part? People have reported their phones showing wrong dates and times in this valley. Past or even future. No one knows why. Even today, people throw coins and pray before entering Taimara Valley. As for Rahul, he still works as a DJ. But one thing is certain. He never crosses that valley at night again.